What have you seen over the last 5 years when it comes to growth acceleration?
Again, I think there's a lot of noise out there, so folks need to be very careful of that. So I'll use as an example, Clubhouse, right? I call it club noise. You see a lot of folks that have jumped on it, but again, they didn't have a strategy in place when they went on there. And so, when I do group calls with folks and I'm speaking with their teams, I'll ask them questions like that. Like, and I'll hear back, well, I'm on Clubhouse. Okay. How many times have you raised your hand, or how many times have you started an actual one yourself? And they won't say any, right? And so that's not a strategy then, right? That's not a growth hack, for your business. What I see is working really well today is really what worked yesterday and a couple of years before that. It's identifying really strategically who are the folks out there already have your audience. And can I, find, there's a famous individual by the name of Chet Holmes. He has since passed. He wrote The Ultimate Sales Machine and he tore my business apart. It was very, very humbling. But in there, he talks about the Dream 100. Every business, regardless of your size, should know who are the 10 big publications out there in your market. Who are the 10 big podcasters, 10 big authors, 10 big bloggers, 10 big Instagram folks. And as you go and you create that, you come up with what's called your Dream 100. Those are the individuals that you as a brand or you as a salesperson, you as a marketer should really be interacting with day in and day out, becoming their best friend. Because now when you develop that relationship, you can find a way to strategically partner with them, because what can they do? They've got your audience's ear. You already did your research, so you know that. So they can send you what? Traffic. And now the question is, as a brand, is once you have that traffic, how are you activating that traffic? And so that's really the big thing. Do you have a pixel on your website? Are you retargeting to those individuals? You should be. If you're not, are you capturing their email address so as that you can now bring them through some type of relationship building? And I think that's where I see a lot of problems. Sometimes things happen between marketing and sales, right? And so sales wants more leads, obviously, right? And so they're pushing marketing for more leads. And so marketing is getting them more leads, but sometimes the quality of those leads, start to diminish. And then what happens when sales doesn't convert that lead? That's got to go back to marketing too, and start bringing that relationship, know, like, and trust, right? And sometimes it used to be 7 touches. That's not 7 touches anymore. It's much more than that. And sometimes they might not be ready right now. Only 7 to 10% of folks might be in market right now. So you're just going to ignore those 90% that you got to come to your website and you've got their email? No, you got to, hone that message. And now once they become a customer, I think that's where the real gold is. You want to say, Mike, what's your best growth hack? It's go to your existing customer base, work on the onboarding with them. You should be setting up regular calls with them, multiple different people in different departments of your company, depending upon how big your company is, to really isolate and get to know them very well, because those people are associating with your other customers that aren't doing business with you yet out there when they're networking. And if you delight that customer, they can be your biggest referral source for your business. And I think a lot of folks ignore that.
I like how you just use the word, it's like nurture. Got leads take a long time before it converts, and there's all these different touch points coming through. So how do you nurture that prospect through those different stages in order to kind of convert? And then once you've converted them, what is that after sales process coming through, and how are you engaging with it? I love it.
My process typically is, you got to study your customer, right? And study your competitors. Number 2 is really get good on your messaging and what differentiates you from everybody else, right? So I don't know if you have this over by you, but State Farm and Allstate, they both sell insurance at the end of the day. And so is there really a difference, right? And that comes down to your messaging and whatever as a brand. And so once you have those 2 things completed, now it's, I'm getting traffic. What are your different ways of getting traffic? What are the different ways to activate that traffic? Once they're a customer, how are you nurturing that relationship so as that the final process works the best, which is virality? How do you create word of mouth marketing? Because when that happens, what happens? You get more traffic, which activates, becomes and so it's that cycle, right? And it's that loop. And so how do you create that going, and how do you pull those levers? And that would be the next thing that you do, which is, I say, step number 7 is really analyzing your numbers, diving deep into it, and continually saying, where am I getting 80% of the results in my business. And typically that's coming from, 20% of those efforts. And then as you look at that, it's like, okay, how do I dive deeper into that? And then how do you strategically start testing different parts of that? So is that you say 60 or 70% of that, I'm going to keep 20%, I'm going to try to test that out. And then 10%, I'm going to go crazy with something out of this world and see if I can get some insane results and discover new opportunities.